Hi guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back again for another video today, and in this one, it is obviously the transfer tips. As always, on a Tuesday, we do the transfer tips video for you guys, and yeah, it should be a good one. It's the buy, sell, hold, and ignore series where we recommend you players that you should be looking to bring into your team and also get rid. But yeah, how you doing, Jordan? Everything good?
Yeah, I'm very good, thanks. Had a nice break from fantasy, obviously, now until the next game week. Hope everyone is doing all right after the devastating and heroic game week that we've had just previously. But yeah, everything's good. Hope everyone else is doing all right as well.
hmm Yeah, obviously we're gonna discuss a lot more, but obviously we are gonna look ahead to this video is looking ahead to game week 10 and talking about any transfer tips. Any player they should be looking to bring in because obviously there's a lot that's happened. So yeah, let's discuss. So let's bring up the first player on the list that we do recommend you guys buy for game week 10 and beyond as well. And the first person on the list is Harry Kane. Now. We have got Harry Kane as a buy on the list. He has had quite a few transfers in as well so far. You look at his numbers. He's already got 7 goals and 2 assists this season in 9 appearances, which shows you that he's playing very well. His underlying numbers are also very decent. 0.71 xG per 90. And the reason why we like Harry Kane, I think, is because of the fixtures. You look at his fixtures, Brighton Brighton away in game week 10, I'd say is a very, very good fixture. Game week 11 is where it gets interesting because in game week 11, Harry Kane is potentially a captain choice in that week because Haaland plays Liverpool. Now, I know people will probably want to captain Haaland against Liverpool anyway, but if you want to go with the guy that probably has the best fixture on paper, if you want to say so, Harry Kane does have Everton, so he's arguably the best captain pick for that week. Then he's got Man United in game week 12, which might be a good fixture anyway. The way United have just conceded 6 to Man City, Newcastle, and Bournemouth. And the other reason why Harry Kane is on the list is because a lot of people are actually considering getting rid of Mo Salah. So if you get rid of Mo Salah, that will leave you with a lot of money to play around with, and maybe you can put that money up top and buy Harry Kane with the Salah money. So that is to discuss as well because most of us have 2 premiums. So it's either most people have Haaland. Well, everyone has Haaland, and then it's either Salah, Kane, or Son usually. So if you did get rid of Salah, that allows you to bring in a Son, bring in a Kane. But obviously, bear in mind, Kane will be 2 moves, whereas Son you could just do it in 1 move. So this is Kane. This could also be Son. If you do only have one free transfer, you could just do Salah to Son if you want to get rid of Salah. I'm not saying I am going to do that, but that is the plan. Because as we'll come on to Liverpool, I think in a sec, they haven't been great. So Kane is a buy, potentially moving the Salah money up front. So he's at 11.4 million. His ownership's under 20% still. Brighton looks like a pretty decent game, to bounce back in for Harry Kane. And then Everton in game week 11 is where I really like that fixture, and I think I'd be targeting potential points in that game. So I do like Harry Kane, and also got the 2 assists. What's your thoughts quickly as well, Jordan, on Harry Kane? Because we've got a few comments actually I want to read out because it kind of ties in.
Okay.
Um, we've got Cynic here who says Isak replacement. Obviously Harry Kane is obviously a lot more expensive to bring in for Isak, but any strikers that you recommend for Cynic?
I think a very obvious one is Ivan Toney because he's a similar price to Isaac. I think Toney is 7.3 million and he has really nice fixtures in the long term run up to the World Cup. So you can pretty much hold Ivan Toney pretty much until the World Cup begins and basically keep him until then because
Yeah.
I know he hasn't scored in his last 2 game weeks, but he is a player that has his certain moments in football, and it's just a matter of time before obviously Tony scores again and with his fixture run as well, we can't afford Tony.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're looking for a cheap striker, I know I might get trolled for this one, but Solanke, have you considered Solanke at 5.7 million? He's cheap, decent fixtures until game week 13 at least, and at that price bracket, I do think he's the best personally, just because you look at the fixtures. But I know Bournemouth aren't popular, and even Solanke as a pick isn't really popular either. But he's got a shout here. Wilson, I actually like Wilson a lot as a pick if you can afford him. But the worry with him is always, can he stay fit? Because he's not to be trusted in that sense. It's a bit risky going with him, in my opinion, just because of his injury record. Would you agree, Jordan?
Yeah. The only problem with Wilson is his injuries, because he suffers from that. It does put people off of bringing Callum Wilson in, even though he's great when he's fit. Like he is scoring goals for Newcastle when he does play. It's only the unfortunate thing where he might turn out to get injured in any of the games he plays in. That's the only risk that goes with it. But it does pay off reward-wise if you do bring Callum Wilson in, because Newcastle arguably have nice fixtures up until the World Cup again, till game week 16. So
Yeah, they've got some decent fixtures as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so Callum Wilson could be I'm sure you can afford him, but yeah, he could be a play you could possibly go for. Or we go a bit differential, like Huss mentioned, and go Solanke.
Yeah, I don't think there are many fans of Solanke in the chat, which is fair enough because Bournemouth are, statistically the worst team in the league as well in terms of creating chances. So I do understand why people would be against that, but at that price bracket, I'm not against it personally. But yeah, Kane is the first buy on our list, guys. We will bring up the second player on the list for a buy. Anything else you'd like to add on Kane, Jordan, or even Son? Because obviously they're kind of the same type of player. Do you think they're good moves?
As a previous Kane owner, definitely Kane is a must buy. I think it's obvious why. One reason is because he's on penalties. And what did Spurs get last game week? A penalty, and Harry Kane scored. So even in the game with Arsenal, Harry Kane is always a goal threat. Even though his fixture may be hard, his form is the dominant thing about Harry Kane. So no matter what team he possibly has, he can manage to score one way or another, whether it's a penalty or just from open play. And with his run of fixtures, they're a bit on and off. But with the form Harry Kane's on, with 7 goals in 9 appearances, that's arguably really good. I mean, it's better than what Mo Salah has, which is 3 goals and 2 assists, I think. And so Kane is outperforming Salah at the moment. So you could arguably say Kane is the better choice currently instead of Salah, just because of the form in between them is very comparatively different. So yeah, Harry Kane as a buy is not a bad idea. I wish I kept Harry Kane, knowing that he was going to get a penalty and score, and Salah was going to only get an assist.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my thoughts on Harry Kane. I think he's definitely a buy and a good price investment to go towards.
Yeah, fair enough. I think Harry Kane's also a good pick, and he's definitely one at this moment in time. I'd probably prefer to have him in my team, definitely for the next 2 game weeks. Brighton and Everton. Everton potentially haul worthy for him as well, because I can see him doing something. I can see him getting a couple goals against Everton, if I'm honest. But yeah, let's move on now to the second player on the list for a buy. And that is another premium player that we've got on, and that is Kevin De Bruyne. Now, people might look at this and think, why have we included Kevin De Bruyne as a buy, even though he actually has no fixture in game week 12 because Man City do blank. But Kevin De Bruyne is on fire right now. If you watch him play, the eye test, how involved he is, and also the numbers don't also lie. I know he's only got 1 goal, but you see the assists. 8 assists in 8 games, which is crazy. His link up with Haaland is scaring defenders at this moment in time. His underlying numbers are also very good. I'd say, expected assists per 90, 0.54, which is very good. And I think game week 10, Southampton at home, I think that is a brilliant fixture for Kevin De Bruyne. If he does start, which is my slight worry with Kevin De Bruyne bringing him in. Will he get rotated? That is the only thing I will say regarding De Bruyne, but see how the Champions League goes, because De Bruyne against Southampton could do damage in my opinion. And then Liverpool game week 11, I think the way Liverpool are playing right now, as a Liverpool fan myself, I wouldn't bank against Kevin De Bruyne getting a goal or an assist against Liverpool, even if it's at Anfield. I just think the way he's playing, the way Man City are playing, for me, that isn't really a red fixture for Man City, personally. I think Liverpool aren't on form right now, and I personally would be pretty happy to have Kevin De Bruyne against Liverpool away at Anfield. I just think he has that potential to get a goal or an assist. And, personally, I'd be wanting to triple up on Man City soon. I think after game week 12, because obviously they got the blank, I'd definitely be looking to triple up on Man City after game week 13. You maybe have De Bruyne, Haaland, and Cancelo, or even Foden. I think we are going to start to potentially consider the triple up of City because of how good they are. And I expect after that game, the blank game week, fixtures look very, very good for Man City longer term as well, because obviously you can only see the first 5 on the screen right now, but I'm just going to read out Man City's fixtures for you guys. So game week 14, they've got Leicester. In game week 15, they got Fulham. Game week 16, Brentford. Game week 17, Leeds. Obviously, we're not going to go too far because there's a World Cup, but Man City have some very, very favourable fixtures after the blank. So you definitely want to triple up. So do bear that in mind. If you are bringing Kevin De Bruyne in, he doesn't play in game week 12, so you got to figure out what to do. So maybe he isn't the greatest option, but I just think Southampton and Liverpool, you could sell Salah and bring De Bruyne in one move, and De Bruyne probably outscores Salah. Definitely game week 12. Sorry, definitely game week 10. Game week 11, I still think KDB is the better pick in game week 11 over Salah. Game week 12, obviously, you'll have to decide what to do then. But I do like Kevin De Bruyne. And I don't think Salah is not proving value for money at this moment in time. As a personal Salah owner myself, I'm not against, moving him out, etc. But we'll come on to my team and stuff in the team selection video on Thursday. But yeah, would you want to add anything, Jordan, or what's your thoughts on De Bruyne?
Yeah, De Bruyne is a machine for assist-wise. 8 assists in 8 appearances, so he's pretty much got an assist each game, more or less. And he's been pretty much on form, as always for Kevin De Bruyne. There's no disappointment. If you have had him since game week 1, he has racked you a lot of points so far, and his price as well, because he was, I think, 12 million price at the start of the season. There is a lot of investment in his money if you still hold on to him at the moment. So 12.4 million.
He's similar to Salah now in price, isn't he? Because Salah's 12.8. There's only 0.4 between them now, so it's interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy how De Bruyne has gained so much price margins that is close to Salah's. I think it does benefit the price is close to Salah, because those who have Salah might move on to obviously Kevin De Bruyne as another option to buy. And I think, well, as long as you don't have, let's say, 3 players that are already blanking game week 12, you should be safe to buy De Bruyne and just bench him in game week 12. As long as you have, let's say, max 3 people blanking, it should be fine to buy Kevin De Bruyne or whoever you want to for Man City. But yeah, I do think he is definitely a buy, especially for Southampton at home. That's a very good fixture for them. Even Liverpool away, the way Liverpool have been playing, as we've mentioned, it could be another great fixture. That's technically maybe a grey at the moment rather than a dark red.
Yeah.
And obviously...
Now, I was going to say, as a Liverpool fan, I am worried in that game week 11 game of what KDB and Haaland could potentially do. As we saw again in the Manchester derby, I wouldn't be surprised if, maybe not 6, but if they put a few past Liverpool as well, personally.
Yeah, that's it. And obviously, the fixtures become great after game week 12, and you can all relax after the blank. And yeah, that's Kevin De Bruyne is definitely a buy. His ownership is on the rise as well, 34.3%. So he is climbing in terms of ownership, which is a bit scary. But we'll have to see what happens, obviously, in the upcoming 5 fixtures for Kevin De Bruyne. But I'm pretty sure his ownership and price will keep rising as long as he's on form.
Yep. Now, okay, that's Kevin De Bruyne out the way. He is the second player on the list as a buy. So now let's move on to some players that are quite highly owned that we believe you should be selling and getting rid of potentially. So let's bring up the sales. So the first player on our list might not come as a surprise to many, and that is Trent Alexander-Arnold. 9 appearances this season so far, 1 goal, 1 assist. His underlying numbers haven't been great. This isn't the Trent, that we've become accustomed to for the last few seasons. You look at his underlying numbers, 0.06 expected goals per 90, and his expected assists, which is usually very high, is only 0.12 this season so far. So Trent is nowhere near his standard of quality that he usually shows. So I'm a Trent owner myself, but I can't justify to anyone that why you wouldn't want to get rid of him. I mean, you look at his next 2 fixtures. Game week 10, he's got Arsenal away, and I can't see him keeping a clean sheet against Arsenal. Game week 11, he plays Manchester City at home. I can't see a clean sheet there. So for the next 2 games, I don't really see a way Liverpool keep a clean sheet. Liverpool do play tonight. They kick off in just about 45 minutes against Rangers in the Champions League. So we're interesting to see how Liverpool perform there, if they can keep a clean sheet, etc., and see how Trent plays. But I'm not confident that Liverpool keep a clean sheet in the next 2, and even in the next, even against West Ham, I wouldn't be confident for Trent keeping a clean sheet. Nottingham Forest looks like a good fixture, and I wouldn't be surprised if Leeds even score against Liverpool. So in the next 5, I could maybe see 1 clean sheet in there. But obviously, Trent does have that upside where he can pull out an assist against the City and even against an Arsenal that we have seen him do time and time again. But, with Liverpool, we are now relying on what they have done previously in other seasons. If we're just looking purely on this season, there's not really a justification, Jordan, is there, why you'd want to keep Trent? Would you agree? Or, I don't know, do you think Liverpool can turn it around and it's just a quick thing? Or do you think there's some deeper root issues where it's going to take time for Liverpool to solve it out?
I mean, I do think it will solve itself really quickly. It's just I expect it to sort it out in the Brighton game, if I'm honest. But I don't know with Trent and Liverpool how long it will take to recover. But I'm probably going to assume that after they've had Arsenal, Man City, they can sort of contemplate on themselves in game week 12, 13 onwards, where their fixtures are much more easier for them and shouldn't really be a challenge. And we should see some improvement after they're against Arsenal, Man City, especially with Trent. We should see more clean sheets from Liverpool after game week 11, and obviously more goals from players, because Liverpool overall haven't really been that involved in anything much, really. I mean, they're almost mid-table in the Premier League. I never thought we'd see that happen.
Also, sorry, what I was just going to add as well is if you don't have Trent, then he's a clear. Do not buy Trent, I would say. He's not one you'd be buying right now. But if you do own him still, like 31% of the game does, and I do as well, there is a case to be made. Do you get rid of him? But the question is, if you was to sell Trent at 7.4, who'd you bring in? Because we've probably got Cancelo, probably got James. Most people have Trippier as well. Who'd you actually bring in if you was to get rid of him? Because he is quite a bit of money. Now, you could downgrade him to Trippier. If you don't have Trippier, I think Trippier is a decent move. There's not really much more either, though, is there really, to bring in?
No, there is other cheaper options like Connor Cody. You could go for a Connor Cody because he did score last game. He seems to be more of a attacking defender, Connor Cody, for the price he is at as well. I think his price is 4.9 million.
Yeah, you'll be pretty much downgrading that spot all the way, though. To go to someone cheap from Trent to like maybe a 4.5, or if you want to, just have a bench spot or even just a rotation spot for Trent. But it is an interesting one with Trent because we definitely don't expect clean sheets in the next 2. No. And then after that, there could be a case to made to keep him, or to bring him in. But I've watched Liverpool extensively, every game, and they just don't look right. And I don't know. Personally, if I had him, I think there's definitely an argument why you should probably get rid, because the next 2 we know it's going to be tough. He's got Martinelli in that side as well. Martinelli against him on that left side. And then Man City, Foden, Grealish, they're on fire. Well, Foden's on fire as also. Yeah, I think Trent is a sell. If you are considering getting rid of Trent, I don't see. I'm not gonna argue with you guys and make cases for Trent. I think you can get rid if I've had enough of Liverpool. I could definitely see why you want to get rid. But if you believe in Game Week 12, his form will turn around as well. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to keep him, but he's on the sell list. I just think the money he's not really provided value so far.
Yeah, and I do believe he's the most transferred out player this game week with many transfers. 400,000 have transferred out Trent this game week already. So a lot of people are probably tired and annoyed because obviously he dropped price as well. If you still had him, you've lost 0.1 as well as a great premium defender who's not performing to the standards he should be. And with that, that's probably had enough for people, especially with their fixtures in game week 10 and 11. It just doesn't look good. But yeah, definitely Trent is a sell, I think, for some people.
All right, let's move on to another player now. So we've done Trent as a sell. So the next player on the list, and that is Mitrovic. Now, Mitrovic is on this list purely because of injury concerns. Now, we don't actually know the full extent of his injury and how serious it is, but if we do hear any murmurings that he's going to be out for a week or two, I think you could probably get rid of him. Now, there is a case to be made if he's not seriously injured and he's back for, let's say he's back for West Ham. I think you definitely keep him. I think his depending on whether you sell him, it depends on his severity of his injury. Obviously, time of recording, if you are watching it back on a playback, we don't actually know how serious it is, but it looks like he might miss game week 10 and even 11. But I think if we just hear it's a minor injury, and if he's only out for 1 week, let's say he's out for West Ham, I'd actually keep him. I'll just bench him and then come back in 11 and you look at his fixtures, brilliant fixtures. Bournemouth, Villa, Leeds, Everton. You definitely want him for those games. But if it is a longer term injury, I think he's an easy sell. If he's missing out, 2-3 weeks, which could be the case. I'm not sure, obviously, but I don't think there's been any news regarding him at the moment, Jordan. But his fixtures look great if he's fit.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that he's injured because the way his fixtures line up now are perfect for Mitrovic, especially with there's not really any other goal scorer for Fulham other than Mitrovic, really. So I'm not sure who's going to be the replacement option for Fulham if there's going to be any particular goal scorers. It's just not known at least for the West Ham away game. We're hoping, though, he's back for game week 11 with the Bournemouth home fixture.
Yeah.
But yeah, we still have to wait and see how serious his foot injury actually is before we contemplate on what to do with Mitrovic. But we've put him as a sell for the moment, obviously, because he is injured, and that is a fact. Like we don't know whether his injury is serious or not, but soon we'll find out.
Yeah. Also, Callum Wilson's back. He looks very good. His numbers are really good. Whenever he plays, he pretty much scores every game. As we mentioned, he's also an injury-prone player that we are worried about minutes-wise. Martial, I know, Jordan, it might be a bit of a differential shout. Martial around, 6.9 million, I think, something like that. But Martial could be a pick if you want to be brave and be a bit different because he did come on and did get 2 goals against City. Yes, one was a penalty, but maybe you want to go a bit different. Firmino, not that I'm considering bringing him, but there are people out there that they want to move to another striker for, even if it's a 1 week punt on other strikers. But I do love Mitrovic's fixtures, and if it's minor, I'd hold on to him and just play a bench player and get him back for Bournemouth. So yeah, Mitrovic is an easy sell if he's out for longer than expected. But we're not going to talk too much about Mitrovic. Let's move on to some players that you should hold on to if you do have them. So the first player on the list as a hold is Tony. Now, Tony's on this list because he has frustrated quite a lot of owners, actually, and he has been transferred out by a decent amount of owners, so which we thought was a bit interesting. I know he hasn't scored in the last 2, I believe, but at that price range, 7.3 million, 5 goals, 2 assists in 9 appearances. Tony's fixtures on paper aren't too bad either. Now, Newcastle away might be seen as a bit of a tough game for Brentford, Brighton, Chelsea, Villa, Wolves. What's your take on Tony, Jordan? Obviously, he's had a few transfers out. Why should we hold on to him then?
Yeah, this is what I mean. This is the trap people fell into, because when people saw Tony blank beforehand, he came back with a hat trick in game week 6 after he blanked in game week 4 and 5. So after 4 and 5, he scored a hat trick and got a 17-pointer, where I think over 450,000 people transferred him out. And this is a similar scenario where we're seeing, well, currently 140,000 people transferred Tony out, and just because he's blanked twice. And he's the type of player that you don't want to transfer him out, especially now with the run of fixtures Tony has. And the form he's on he's proper on form. With 5 goals, 2 assists, and 9 appearances, that's really good. And I
For the
feel like
price.
you got to wait for Tony. You got to be patient with Tony, because he's not a player that's going to score every game week.
Yeah.
He's going to have those hot and cold moments. He's the type of player that will
Yeah,
get
I agree.
goals, but you just have to be patient with him. Don't just get rid of him just on the fact that he's blanked for 2 game weeks, because it's just not. It's not the kind of player that you want to be, especially selling now at this point in the run of fixtures that Brentford have, because you could pretty much hold Tony until game week 16, when obviously the World Cup is. So, especially his price as well, 7.3 million. He's just had a price rise, so he's not going down or up. It's the perfect time to just hold on to Tony and just wait and see what he does.
Do you reckon he can get a goal against Newcastle, Brighton in those 2 fixtures? Do you see him returning potentially?
Yeah, I could see Tony returning against Newcastle and Brighton fixture. Maybe not Chelsea at home, but after that he's got Aston Villa and Wolves, both 2 teams which have been struggling for goals and wins. Like especially for Wolves, with their manager being sacked as well, and there's not really a goal scorer for Wolves either. So there's all the potential for Tony to score in at least 4 of those fixtures you see on the screen. There's no doubt with that. I don't see Tony not scoring in those 4 fixtures, because he is a great player. I mean, the England manager brought him in the team, so that just goes to show he's a good player on form. You just got to be patient with Tony.
He's definitely played well so far this season. I think Tony, as we said, he's a bit of a weird striker in the sense that he's a bit hot and cold, where he'd go 2 game weeks, he won't look like scoring when you own him, but as soon as you sell him, he'll get a brace or a hat trick or something like that. We know he's on penalties, so that's a bonus for a player that plays 90 minutes on penalties. And the fact that, as we mentioned, he's a hot and cold striker where you can't really predict when he's one of those players you can't really predict where his goals are going to come from, where you can't look at that or a fixture and say he's going to score in this game. He'll just score randomly, and like we saw with the hat trick that he did have. And I still think Tony's a whole. You got to be patient with him a bit more. Give him a couple more weeks. If I had him, I'd probably hold him. So yeah, it's just interesting because he has been transferred out by 140,000 FPL managers. So we thought, what was that about? He looks a bit maybe knee jerky to us. So we thought, what, Tony should probably a hold if we had him. But yeah, he's the first hold on the list. Gonna read out some comments, so bear with me for a sec, guys. Also, if you have just joined the stream, guys, please do drop a like on the video if you are, and also if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe to our channel if you are new around here. But yeah, guys, please do drop a like. As always, it's very much appreciated and it helps the channel out a lot. Okay, damn it. Oh, I've got FPL Penguin says evening to you, mate. Hope you're well. Ara's in the chat as well. And then we're gonna answer some more questions at the end. I'm gonna leave. Obviously, there's a lot of transfer related questions as well, and I am gonna come on to you guys. I'm not gonna miss your questions out. I'm gonna get through all the players, and then we're gonna move on to your questions at the end. So please, we're not ignoring you. So the second player as a hold on the list, it is Cancelo. Now, Cancelo actually is an interesting one because he's been transferred out by 91,000 managers, which, nearly 100,000 managers. That's going to go up as well, probably before the deadline. So 90,000 managers have transferred out Cancelo when he's got Southampton at next, which I thought was a bit interesting because I can't see why you transfer out Cancelo, really. I know he's got a blank in 12, so people are probably wanting to get rid of City just before that so they can maybe bring him back in 13, but I would just hold Cancelo. He's just one of those players that I know he hasn't. I mean, it's been a weird season for Cancelo because we expect a lot more from him in terms of attacking returns. He's only got the goal and the assist this season, so he's pretty much matched Trent. And we don't hear anything about Cancelo being poor this season. But obviously, the difference is Man City actually keep clean sheets, whereas Liverpool, they're not keeping clean sheets and they're losing a lot of games. But if you look at, if we're just looking at numbers, 1 goal, 1 assist, he's done the same as Trent. So not seeing many people see that. So yeah, I can see the frustrating as well. Maybe expected a bit more from Cancelo and Trent in terms of assists, but as we know, he's a quality player as well as Trent, and they can turn it on any given time and get an assist and and a clean sheet, and then it's a double-digit return. So Southampton at home, I think, is a great fixture for Cancelo. I wouldn't be getting rid of him ahead of Southampton. I think it's just not a risk I'm willing to take. And then Liverpool, I mean, I think Liverpool can score against Man City, so I probably don't see a clean sheet for Man City in that game. But if as we expect Man City to score a couple goals, maybe Cancelo could chip in with the odd assist. So, definitely Cancelo is a hold if you have him. I think Southampton is too good of a fixture. And then in game week 12, I'd be looking to bench him. So bench him, and then in game week 13, Brighton and Leicester, two great fixtures as well. So for me, he's a definite hold to 16. I wouldn't be looking to offload him or anything like that. But that's just my opinion. What's your thoughts, Jordan, on Cancelo? You think he's an easy hold, or do you maybe see why people have transferred him out?
I mean, I'm still questioning who people are transferring Cancelo out for, with those 90,000 people transferring him out. Because for a premium defender like him, and the way Man City are this season, I wouldn't think twice about selling Cancelo at all for no reason. At 7.2 million, I know he's only had 1 goal and 1 assist, but Man City's form has been relentless this season so far. And let's not forget, we're only in 9 games into the season. It's still early days. And to get rid of Cancelo now would be, I'll say, a proper mistake as well. Southampton home next. That's like a pretty much almost a definite clean sheet there. I know with Liverpool there might not be one. But even if people are transferring Cancelo out so that they doesn't have a blank in your team in game week 12, it's still too early. You might as well hold him on till at least the Liverpool game. There's no reason to get rid of Cancelo, especially with half of fantasy managers owning him as well still, 51.8%. That's a massive risk to get rid of Cancelo with that ownership, because obviously half of players own him. So it is a bit surprising. I mean, I guess it's because of his statistics is matching Trent's. So there is that why people may consider taking Cancelo out. But I still think it's early days for, obviously, Cancelo. I still think he has a lot in him that he can give, obviously, with goals and assists, because he does get chances in games. Like, he has the odd cheeky shot here and there. It's just unfortunate that it might not go in or it misses. But he is a high attacking defender that is in Man City as well, who are currently on fire at the moment. So there's no thinking twice of saying Cancelo, and he's definitely a hold pretty much until game week 16, I would say.
For me, he's actually someone I'm looking to hold for the rest of the season, really. He's just one of those players that is the last guy that I'd be looking to get rid of, along with Haaland, obviously. But yes, Cancelo is a hold for me. Let's move on to some players now that you should be ignoring. Maybe these are popular transfers in, and we think you should probably stay clear of them still. So the first person on our list is actually Firmino. Now, Firmino has had quite a few transfers in this, obviously, as expected, because he did score 2 goals on the weekend against Brighton. So Firmino has had about 106,000 transfers in so far. And obviously it's quite a lot. So let's speak why he's actually an ignore for us. So Firmino, okay, Liverpool play tonight. Firmino doesn't start. So Jota and Nunes, I believe, are playing up front. So with Firmino, there is that risk of rotation. Now, I know he's played very well so far this season. He's probably been Liverpool's best player. 8 appearances, 1 off the bench, 5 goals, 3 assists. Numbers look great. Underlying numbers are also pretty good, surprisingly, because Firmino's underlying numbers haven't been the greatest in the last few seasons. So 0.60 expected goals per 90, which is very good. But with Firmino, I just think I wouldn't be going there personally. I know he got the 2 goals in the weekend, but he doesn't do that every week, and it may come back to haunt me. But against Arsenal, and to be fair, he always usually has a good game against Arsenal. But I just think I'll still be ignoring him for the longer term. I just think you don't really want to waste a striker spot on Firmino personally, and he is at that. He's a bit of an awkward price bracket, I guess, 7.9 million. Do you see him scoring against Man City, Arsenal? Maybe, but there's also a chance where Jota can play, Nunes can play. They're both back now, and they are starting tonight actually in the Champions League. So Firmino for me is still an ignore, even though he actually probably been Liverpool's best player so far this season. And then maybe you can consider him game week 12, 13, 14. But I personally, I'd be avoiding Firmino. I just think he's one of those players that he'll go like 8 game weeks without scoring, and then he'll get a brace back to back or something like that, and then he'll go another 10 game weeks without scoring. So yeah, Firmino for me definitely an ignore, and I think people bringing him in, fair enough. You know, he might come back and prove me wrong if he might get a goal against Arsenal, but I'm not the biggest fan of Firmino in FPL. I just think he's very a streaky player where he'll go games like, as I mentioned, he'll score like 4 goals in 3 games, and he'll go missing for like 6, 7 games where he wouldn't get the goals and assists. And this is a thing with Firmino. As a fan, I've been watching Firmino, brilliant player, but he's just not as a consistent goal threat, in my opinion, even though this season he has been so far. But yeah, would you agree, Jordan? Firmino for you still an ignore, regardless of the goals he's scored for Liverpool so far this season?
Yeah, I would agree. Firmino is an ignore because he does have like the spare moment of opportunities in matches. I think as well, because of Liverpool's performance at the moment, that it's lacking so much from pretty much every Liverpool player. It does give Firmino more, let's say, chances to obviously score, like we've seen with 5 goals and 3 assists behind him. I feel like when Liverpool do get back up to their standard of what they were playing at, like last season, I think that's going to isolate Firmino more out of the team, and obviously with rotation as well, as with Nunes, for example, he might be missing games and rested instead. And there's always that risk as well, the rotation between Firmino and Nunes, and obviously Jota. And like we said, he scores goals here and there, and then nothing for a few game weeks. So he's not a consistent returner for goals. He's just the moment. He's like
He scores in patches, I feel like. Yeah, that's what I think you want to say.
It's like a spare of the moment for Firmino for goals and returns. But at the moment, it seems to be working, obviously, with 5 goals and 3 assists. But it depends on how long that could last, and I don't think it will last long, and that's why I think Firmino is ignore.
Fair enough. Okay, so now let's move on to the final player on our list as an ignore, and that is William Saliba. Now, just double checking the stats, Saliba has actually been transferred in by 169,000 managers. So currently he's the 6th highest transferred in player so far this game week, which may come as a surprise to some people, but I don't know really why people are transferring him, if I'm being honest. He's got Liverpool. Okay, actually, maybe they keep a clean sheet. I think they'll concede against Liverpool. So Liverpool in game week 10. So I think Liverpool will score. So that's the clean sheet wipe there. Leeds in game week 11 is a good fixture, you'd say, but there's no reason why Leeds can't get a goal against Arsenal. They'll probably lose. Don't get me wrong. I don't expect Leeds to win, but maybe they can nick a goal. And then 12 is a blank. So for the next 3 fixtures, if we're looking at it in isolation, I don't really see where the upside is of getting Saliba, because Liverpool, we expect to score. I know Liverpool have been poor, but you still expect Liverpool to get a goal, even if they do end up losing to Arsenal. But after 13, though, I definitely think Saliba becomes an option. So game week 13 is where I'll be definitely looking to bring Saliba in. But for the next 3 weeks, because you have to understand, if you've got Haaland, let's say you're bringing Saliba in, but you've got Haaland, you've got Cancelo, let's say you have Martinelli, how many players are you going to have that blank in 12? And how are you going to, if you have like 4, if you have 2 City and 2 Arsenal, that's 4 players in game week 12 that's going to blank. You're not going to have a full 11 to play unless you've got a decent bench. So for me, the game week 12 is a big issue when you're bringing in Saliba. unless you've only got one Arsenal player, or let's say you've got 0 Arsenal players, and even then, he's not really got a great fixture, in my opinion, at Liverpool. So I don't know why people bring Saliba in personally. I'd definitely wait till game week 13. I just think I don't see clean sheet against Liverpool and then a blank. What's your take, Jordan? Would you think if you've got double City or even triple City in some people's cases and one Arsenal, double City, one Arsenal, why are we bringing Saliba in?
Yeah, I don't exactly know why this is a popular pick for Saliba. As we've mentioned before, it's because most people have Cancelo and Haaland in the team, which also blank in game week 12. And let's say you have a third player like Saliba in your team. If you want to bring in Man City or more Arsenal before that blank, you won't be able to, because you'll have not a starting 11, because you'll have too many players at blank. So Saliba is losing you that spot in game week 12, and I don't think it's worth it with Liverpool at home and then the Leeds away fixture, which is left, because you only see the clean sheet against Leeds. I don't think Arsenal keep a clean sheet against Liverpool despite the way they're playing. There's still a goal for it. Let's not forget that. And he is a better option after game week 12. It's too early to bring Saliba in now.
Yeah.
With the fixtures, and obviously Man City as well blanking. You've got two teams that are blanking in game week 12, Arsenal and Man City, and you don't want to bring in Saliba, and that, because it's just a waste of a player slot, in my opinion, to bring Saliba in. So he's definitely, I'll say, an easy ignore. It's crazy how many people have transferred in.
Yeah, a lot. 170k, I think I said, isn't it? That he's been transferred in. Yeah.
Yes.
No, yeah, pretty much 170,000 managers so far, and his ownership is about 26%. Is it? Yeah, 26%. Yeah. So it's interesting, but maybe he goes and scores against Liverpool or Leeds or something like that crazy. That'll probably happen now, but yeah, we'll see. But I just want to add, actually, guys, there's quite a few of you watching in here, but there's not enough likes. So if you haven't liked the video, guys, please do drop a like. It really helps our channel out. So please do drop a like, and also if you haven't, do subscribe to the channel as well, if you do enjoy the content. So yeah, Saliba is out the way. He is another ignore, and that is the final player of the transfer tips video, guys. Let's quickly do a recap of all the players that we have mentioned today, if you are just joining new. So yeah, if you're joining new, the players that we recommend that you should buy are Harry Kane and Kevin De Bruyne. The two players they should look to offload are Trent and Mitrovic, potentially if he's still injured longer term. You should hold on to Tony and Cancelo, and you should ignore Firmino and Saliba. So those are the 8 players that we have picked for you guys in our transfer tips video. Do drop a comment in below. Let us know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is there anyone that we should have included that we've left out, etc.? Do let us know your thoughts on the players that we've picked. We'll be interested to know what your opinions are. And yeah, so let's see. We've got Alvin Blocks, sorry. Says like drop. Thank you for that, mate. And also everyone else can, if they could follow Alvin with dropping a like, that would be appreciated. But yeah, so those are the players out the way. Let's now actually answer some of your questions, because obviously I've left a lot of your questions. I haven't ignored you guys. I usually like to come back at the end and answer your questions just so we don't get sidetracked. So I'm going to answer all your questions that I've missed out. Let me see, who did I miss out? Dominic George, welcome to the stream. Thank you for your comment. Took a -4 to get Zaha and Fofana from Trent. Was that a good transfer? Took a -4 to get Zaha and Fofana from Trent. Could be, because Zaha's got a good fixture. Would I took the -4? Not sure. Who else did you take out? Because he bought in 2 players.
I mean, it's not, Fofana's not a bad transfer, because Chelsea do have Wolves next, and Wolves don't really score. So no, there's a potential for a clean sheet with Fofana if he starts.
And he looks like Fofana might actually become a starter now as well, because he did start on the weekend, I think. Isak replacement. I think we spoke about this. We said Solanke if you want to go cheap. I still think I'll die on the hill. So I still think Solanke is a decent pick if you don't have any money to spend in that area. But Tony or Wilson, even if you are willing to take that risk on him. Dropped KDB for Salah and captained him. Ouch. You know, I captained Salah as well, as you guys know. It didn't turn out. It didn't turn out. It didn't turn out well. Put it that way. Should I captain Mo? Should I keep Mo? Well, I think is this an interesting one. I think I am torn. I got Mo Salah in my own team, but I think I'm going to keep him just because I don't want to spend. I don't want to take a -4 to take Salah out. And that's what it comes down to, I think. Because if I took Salah out, it would only be for KDB. I could go Son, but I'm actually, even though what I've said about Liverpool, I might just keep Mo just because the only player I could take him to right now is De Bruyne that I'd want to bring in. But I might have other bits in my team that I need to take out. So it is team dependent. As you guys will see my team selection video on Thursday. So do tune in for that to see exactly what I do with Salah. Do I keep him? But at this moment in time, I am siding towards keeping him. I'll let you take some questions, Jordan.
Dominic says, should I play Tony next week when I might play Pope and Trippier?
So they're playing against each other, I'm guessing. Newcastle got Brentford, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
They do.
Would you play? Oh, yeah, I'd play Tony.
Yeah, why not? I wouldn't bench Tony.
Yeah.
I'll definitely play him, even though Trippier is playing Tony or Pope. Then
yeah, you'd play Tony.
Yeah.
Nanjay says, "Hey guys, I need a good differential midfielder for around 7 million. I say Harvey Barnes is a shout, 6.9 million. He's got Nottingham Forest next. So if you want a 1 week punt, I know Harvey Barnes got a goal against who did he play again? He got Bournemouth next. He scored against Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Leicester have Bournemouth next, don't they?
Yeah, nice. Another nice fixture.
Yeah, another great fixture, I'd say. So if you are looking for that under 7 million punt, low ownership differential, Harvey Barnes is one I think I like the look of. I actually have him in my team as well from a Gameweek 9 wildcard, and he did score for me, which was very nice, saving me from an even bigger red arrow. But yeah, Harvey Barnes, I think. Anyone you want to add, Jordan, other than Harvey Barnes?
I'm just trying to think of a midfielder that's a differential around 7 mil because there isn't really many that I can really think of, apart from Rodrigo. But
is he back? He's not back, is he?
Yeah, Rodrigo played in the last game that they had against I can't remember who it was.
I mean,
Brentford.
There's this guy, Almiron, that's been put forward by Ali. So shout out to Ali. He says thoughts on Almiron. Maybe he's a decent differential. Because I'm just gonna look at their fixtures. They got Brentford at home next, which could be a good fixture. Man United might be tough for them. Then they've got Everton, then Spurs. So fixtures are a bit up and down. But Almiron's been playing pretty well recently, to be fair. But I don't know if I'd go Almiron myself. I'll still prefer Harvey Barnes. But yeah, I think Almiron's a decent pick. But how much is Almiron actually? Because I haven't checked. But Harvey Barnes is exactly 6.9 million. So it's in that budget. Almiron's only 5.1 million and he's 3.6% owned.
Wow.
And he's just come off a 15-point haul as well. So look, Almiron for a cheap 5.1 million midfielder, I don't hate it. So that's my thoughts on him. And he also says, hey, FPL Duo, love your videos. Thank you, man. Really appreciate your support. And thank you for your kind words. Jordan, do you want to take this one?
Dominic says, I have 3 City players and 2 Arsenal players. Should I sell KDB and Jesus for game week 12, then buy back? Yes, you can do that because obviously you don't want to have 9 starting in game week 12 because obviously you have 3 City and 2 Arsenal, so you can do that move of selling KDB and Jesus for game week 12, potentially move it on to a cheaper midfielder.
Personally, it depends who those players, the 3 City players are. I'd bench Haaland probably at this rate, and I probably wouldn't look to sell him and bring him back in. I know I did contemplate that weeks ago, but now I just think may as well just keep him because of the value tied up in Haaland. You could get rid of. Look at Arsenal's fixtures. Let me bring them up again. I've got Arsenal Oh yes, got Saliba on here, haven't I? So game week 10, see, I can see Jesus scoring against Liverpool and Leeds. So if I had, I'd just hold Jesus. Maybe sell one of the City players if you've got a City. I mean, it depends who your three are: Cancelo, Haaland, and maybe sell the other one, and maybe just keep Cancelo and Haaland, personally. And but yeah, I'd want to hold. If you are going to get rid of Jesus, it was maybe to get rid of him last week when he had Spurs, but then he scores against Spurs, so there's no reason why he can't do it against Liverpool. So I just like Jesus right now, and I think he's on fire as well. And
I do have to mention as well, because this is a risk keeping Jesus at the moment, but he just needs one yellow card from a suspension. So there is that issue too. If he does get a yellow card in the match against Liverpool, then he is suspended for game week 11, and obviously not for game week 12. He don't play, but yeah, there is that worry as well, and that creates a headache if Jesus does get yellow in game week 10.
I think a lot depends on your plans as well moving forward after game week in game week 13, because in game week 13 there's a fixture swing that happens that we will talk about obviously for a little wildcard video we'll do as well for game week 13 people, where Arsenal, you'd want triple Arsenal from game week 13 onwards, you'd want triple Man City also. But it's just weird the way tough fixtures blank and then they got the good fixtures. So yeah, I think you'd want to get rid of at least one of them. So you just bench all your Arsenal City players and then bring them back into your team because they've got great fixtures after game week 13, both of them. Thoughts in bringing in Anthony or Rashford, or are there better options? Jordan, what do you think actually? Because I can bring up Man United fixtures right now. So let me bring them up actually. So Man United actually have Everton in game week 10, which away, so it could be a good fixture. Then they got Newcastle, Spurs, and Chelsea. Looking at that fixture run, I just think I wouldn't be going there personally. Would you? Or I know Anthony has got 2 goals in since he joined, but would you go there?
No, I wouldn't go there. I mean, Anthony's last goal against Man City, it looked like they let him kind of score because there was not really anyone trying to attempt to
Brilliant
block
goal
his
though,
shot.
but
Yeah, it was a nice goal. It beat Edison, which is not easy, but I don't see it happening every week for Man United. They haven't really. I know they scored 3 goals against Man City, but they sort of went down a few gears. Man City. I just don't see Man United scoring that many goals.
And I don't like their fixtures. They've got
No.
Newcastle, Spurs, and Chelsea.
And after that defeat as well, I don't really trust anyone from Man United after that as well, because we all thought their form was recovering before obviously the Man City game and that long break we had when it was during international. But that Man City game where they lost 6-3, that made me lose all confidence in Man United again, as well as any individual player that plays in the team. So I think there is better options, Hamza, that you can go for instead of Anthony or Rashford, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Well, we did mention Zaha. You know, Zaha's one I think I'd be going for better fixtures long term. You know, I've mentioned Harvey Barnes for this week. Harvey Barnes got a good fixture against Bournemouth. And those are the kind of players I'd be targeting. You know, Bowen potentially coming off a little bit of a haul. Foden probably got a decent fixture as well. Southampton if he starts again. So yeah, I definitely think Man United probably not for me. Trini Guna says thoughts on Sterling. Quickly looking at Sterling's fixtures. Sterling has Wolves, Villa, Brentford in the next 3, and then Man United and Brighton, Arsenal, Newcastle. I think Sterling fixtures look good until game week 13. So yes, I do like Sterling for at least the next 3 weeks. Wolves, Villa, and Brentford. Would you like Sterling, Jordan? Thoughts on him?
I just think Sterling is too much money still. I think if he was a bit cheaper, then I would maybe think about bringing in Sterling, because I did think about this before with Chelsea's fixtures, but I'm still not convinced with Chelsea still with the players and the way they're playing. There's not really like conviction, unfortunately. Even though they have great fixtures, their form isn't up to scratch yet. I'm sure with Graham Potter that it will change soon, but I think it's still not convincing for me to bring in like a player like Sterling.
Yeah, he's just at an awkward price point for me at 10 million. He's a bit of a premium kind of thing where it's hard to kind of fit him in unless you take out a Salah, a Son, or KDB, which you'd probably rather keep. So yeah, I like him, but it's just too hard to fit him in for my team anyway. Cynic says Luis Diaz in game 12. Potentially, yes, you could go there. And game week 12, Liverpool do play with West Ham. West Ham, game week 12. So could be good there if you want to save money and maybe not go Salah if you want a bit of Liverpool coverage.
Yeah, Luis Diaz is like the best of the bad bunch for Liverpool. Like whenever he comes on or whenever he starts, he does make an impact.
Yeah, he's the other player that's actually been decent along with Firmino. He's not starting tonight. We are going to wrap the stream up actually as well, because obviously we're going on for a while now because Liverpool do kick off in literally 4 minutes. So we are going to wrap the stream up because there's Champions League games on. So, yeah. But yeah, Saliba game week 13, as I said, Michael Music as also says, yes, Arsenal defenders after game week 13, definitely I'd look to bring in Saliba or Gabriel until at least the World Cup. So yeah, those are our thoughts on there. But yeah, let's wrap the video up, guys. We've been an hour on the stream. Dude, that stream flew by.
Yeah, it went quick.
Didn't realize it went hour already. But yeah, guys, we just want to say a thank you to everyone that have watched the video. If you are watching it on a playback, also drop a like. And yeah, if you are still watching, guys, please do drop a like if you haven't already. If you're enjoying the content, do subscribe to the channel, the FPL Duo. A lot of content to come for a busy period in October. A lot of football. We're streaming 4 days a week. So you're going to get a lot of content if you do subscribe. So if you do enjoy, you know where to find us. Also, quickly plug out the socials. Do follow us on Twitter. And do follow our mini league as well. And that's on the screen right now. Links for everything also in the description below. So do check that out if you can. And yeah, anything else you want to add, Jordan? We're going to wrap it up. Anything else you want to say?
There's not much else to say. Just thanks for everyone for watching and thanks for your comments. Appreciate it. We love your questions and thoughts. Obviously, during our streams, even if it's not related to obviously what we're talking about, but you're all welcome to say whatever's on your mind. And yeah, thanks for everyone for watching, and we'll see you obviously soon.
Yep. So yeah, we are back again on Thursday, 7 p.m. UK time for a team selection video for Game Week 10. So do join us on that one. It should be a good. Am I going to transfer out Salah? Am I going to transfer out Trent? You'll find out everything. And yeah, guys, see you on Thursday for a team selection. But for now, that is it from the FPL Duo. Thank you for watching, and I hope everyone has a good week. Thank you, guys, and take care.
I'm sorry. So yeah, take care. See you soon, guys.